Welcome to Carol and Gary's See America Tour. Hello again, everyone. When Carol and I visited the Kennedy Space Center on January 13th, we knew that we had missed several of the displays, so before leaving that day, we upgraded our single-day passes to annual passes. Yes, we are still leaving Florida on April 1st, but with missing some of the activities at the Kennedy Space Center and then hearing that an annual pass costs less than 2 single-day passes, it made sense to upgrade. Continuing on with our January 13th video of the Kennedy Space Center, SPACEX has flown 18 resupply missions to the International Space Station, but these were all unmanned flights. As a result of the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster in 1986 and then the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster in 2003, NASA decided that before any astronauts could be launched from the Kennedy Space Center, that the company who designed the aircraft must demonstrate that in the event of an emergency that they, the company, have the ability to get astronauts out of harm's way. So in preparation of future manned flights, Carol and I returned to the Kennedy Space Center early on January 19th to watch SpaceX launch one of their Falcon rockets that would hopefully demonstrate their ability to safely jettison their Dragon passenger capsule away from the rocket. This is the Dragon space capsule sitting on top of a Falcon rocket on the launch pad. Due to the scale and for clarification, I'm going to switch to a green screen background. Now I'm going to zoom in to give you a better idea of what's supposed to happen. Let's say that the rocket has not reached the altitude where it should detach automatically from the space capsule, but that something really bad suddenly happens. SpaceX needs to be able to demonstrate that they can detach the space capsule from the rocket. Here is what it should look like. Even though the rocket is traveling extremely fast, after releasing, the capsule needs to go even faster to be able to get away. Now I'm going to put you over to an actual countdown from January 19th when this demonstration happened.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Carol and I are sitting in the bleachers at the visitor center where we can see the rocket once it clears the trees, but then we quickly lose sight of the rocket before the separation occurred. But it did happen. On February 10th, Carol and I decided to go back to the Kennedy Space Center to see the Space Shuttle Atlantis display. As indicated by the name of the building, on the second floor the Space Shuttle Atlantis is suspended from the ceiling at 43.21 degrees with the cargo bay doors open to allow visitors to see inside. The floor of the building was constructed with a large hole in the floor between the first and second floors to allow visitors to see the underside of the shuttle from the first floor. The Space Shuttle Atlantis is 56.58 feet tall and 122.17 feet long. It has a wingspan of 78 feet and weighs 151,315 pounds. There were 6 space shuttles built. The Space Shuttle Enterprise was the first orbiter of the Space Shuttle program. It was rolled out in September 1976 to perform atmospheric test flights after being launched from a modified Boeing 747. It was constructed without engines or a functional heat shield. As a result, it was not capable of spaceflight. After the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster in 1986, NASA considered retrofitting the Space Shuttle Enterprise with all of the necessary equipment for it to be used in space, but ultimately decided to use spare parts constructed at the time the Space Shuttle Discovery and Atlantis were built to build the Space Shuttle Endeavour. It took approximately 6 hours from liftoff to be docked at the International Space Station. There were many reasons for this, but primarily the Space Shuttle needed to match the International Space Station's velocity, altitude, and inclination with a set of orbital maneuvers, and all of this time to occur when both vehicles were at the same orbital position. With 4.5 hours to go, the Space Shuttle would be 250,000 feet behind the International Space Station. With 3 hours to go, the shuttle would be 50,000 feet behind the International Space Station. Relative velocities became slower as the Space Shuttle closed in on the space station. The last 400 feet were incredibly slow, taking approximately 40 minutes. Remember I said in the last Kennedy Space Center video that the International Space Station traveled at just over 17,000 miles per hour, meaning that it orbits the Earth every 92 minutes. Astronauts see a new sun up and then a new sun down every 92 minutes. There was a display at the Space Shuttle building that showed what it would be like to move from one compartment to another in the International Space Station. This was actually a play area for young children, so even though it looks like an adult could walk down this hallway, you would actually have to crawl as you would in the space station. Every door takes you into another compartment. Astronauts sleep in sleeping bags in small compartments at the International Space Station. They can sleep vertically because of being weightless. They have no reference to their position. Astronauts use a great deal of Velcro to secure things and prevent them from floating away. Getting back to the Space Shuttle Atlantis, here is a picture of the open cargo bay door. These silver panels hide miles of cooling lines needed to remove heat from the Space Shuttle during takeoff and re-entry. This is a view of the underside of the Space Shuttle Atlantis. Those marks are actual marks made by heat during re-entry. This was the shuttle commander's area aboard the Space Shuttle. All shuttle commanders had to have prior spaceflight experience, a degree in engineering, biological science, physical science, or mathematics. They also had to have at least 1,000 hours of flying experience in a jet aircraft, and at least 750 landings in the shuttle simulator. The pilot who sat to the right of the shuttle commander had to have the same education and flight experience as the commander, but did not need to have prior spaceflight experience. In addition to the shuttle commander and the pilot, most missions included a mission specialist and payload specialist. Mission specialists must have a bachelor's degree in engineering, biological science, physical science, or mathematics, plus at least 3 years of related progressive responsible professional experience. An advanced degree can be substituted for all or part of the experience. For example, a master's degree can be substituted for 1 year of the 3 years of experience. A doctoral degree can be substituted for all 3 years of required experience. When the Space Shuttle was still being flown, the mission specialists worked closely with the commander and pilot, coordinating onboard operations involving crew activity, planning, use, and monitoring of the Space Shuttle's consumables such as fuel, water, and food. Mission specialists still perform experiments aboard the International Space Station. A payload specialist was an engineer who flew on the shuttle when space experiments required a high level of professional knowledge. They were not involved in space shuttle operations. The Space Shuttle Atlantis lifted off on July 8, 2011 for its 33rd and final trip to the International Space Station. It would return safely to Earth on July 21, 2011, marking the end of the entire Space Shuttle program. The Atlantis Space Shuttle building has a shuttle simulator that is included in the price of admission. I was not able to take a camera with me, but I found a YouTube video done by NASA so that you can see it for yourself. Our 3 trips to the Kennedy Space Center have been amazing, well worth the price of admission. And with that, I'm going to close out this video and get it uploaded. If you like this video but have not yet subscribed, please do so to be notified of future videos, and as always, feel free to share with your friends. Thanks for watching.